day. Sources say that pledge includes $5 billion set for a steel plant in Louisiana with plans to hire 1,500 employees and produce next-generation steel for Hyundai and Kia cars. That move comes after similar investment commitments from SoftBank and chipmaker Taiwan Semiconductor earlier this year.
Good afternoon, everybody. Had to do an adjusted time frame for today, doing this 1:30 show based upon President Trump's schedule. He's scheduled to make, as you just heard, a big announcement with the governor of Louisiana at 2 p.m. As soon as that happens, we're going to cut right to it so you guys can hear and listen to this huge, investment information. Got a whole bunch of stuff to go over with you today. Tonight, at the 7 o'clock show, I'm going to cover the Kash Patel interview that was broadcast yesterday on Fox News last night. So we're going to have the entirety of the Kash Patel interview from last night at 7 p.m. plus some other stuff. But before we begin here, just wanted to show you something. President Trump had posted this a little while ago, and it alludes to what I was just talking to you about. Let me pull it up here real quick and cut to it. There it is. U.S. investment pledges by countries and companies thus far. UAE, 1.4 trillion. Saudi Arabia, 600 billion. Hyundai, today you're finding out, 20 billion. Apple, 500 billion. Nvidia, over 100 billion. SoftBank, 100 billion, and so on and so on and so on. I didn't know I would yada yada over hundreds and billions of information, but the guy is kicking butt, and the Democrats have no answer. I want to go to this next cut right now so you guys can listen to something that happened at the cabinet meeting this morning.
We had a very, very good cabinet meeting. We're on our way to some tremendous numbers. I think, first of all, many companies are now moving into the United States. They're coming back. Some of them left us from many years ago, decades ago, and they're all coming back. We have probably identified maybe $4 trillion worth of companies moving back or going to move back. Many of them have announced it's going to be tremendous jobs, high-paying jobs too. And you probably know the chip business, not because of the CHIPS Act, which was a disaster. You gave billions of dollars to companies that already have many billions of dollars. They said thank you very much. It was no incentive for them to use it. But what is good is the tariffs will make it so that they want to come back. That's why they're coming back. I think they're coming back because of the election that took place on November 5th and because of the fact that they have to come back because the tariffs are forcing them to come back. And remember, there are no tariffs if you build here, and that's a big factor. So we have record numbers. Howard was just telling me the numbers that we're talking about are crazy, beyond anybody's wildest expectation. So they'll be doing a lot of building, all sorts of businesses, including the basics of automobiles. We have, as you know, Hyundai's coming in with a massive plant to Indiana, but there are many plants that are happening, and literally some are started already. General Motors is already redoing plants that were half abandoned, or they have plants that weren't being fully utilized. They're going to be they and others are going to be making parts and other things in those plants so that it's one-stop shopping finally. It's ridiculous. You had to go to Mexico. You had to go to Canada. A car went all over the place. It was like, I don't know how that would have worked, but that's the way it sort of ended up. We had a deal, and we have a deal. It's fine, but people took advantage of the deal. They cheated. And when you cheat, the deals are unfortunate. But now what's happening is the numbers are beyond our wildest expectations.
Yes, beyond our wildest expectations. And all of this is happening. Why? Simply because we have a different president in office. You can, again, I've talked about the contrast between the two parties, the contrast between the last administration and this administration. You can see the media's just spinning the bowl at this point. The Democrat Party spinning, circling the bowl. They have nothing to offer America. All it took was somebody to say, we're open for business. We're going to start doing things to do business. And we're seeing companies, because they don't want to pay tariffs, are coming over here. It's everything he said is happening specifically the way he said it would happen. And remember, we're only 2 months in. These people can't understand how all of this could happen in merely 2 months. But a guy who knows business, coupled with Howard Lutnick and some of the other people he's been speaking to, they obviously know what the hell they're doing. So much so that every single day it seems like we find out something new. You know, something came out yesterday or this morning in the news that completely just blew me away. I found out that Australia, big country, is having an emergency meeting because President Trump cut off funding to their universities. Let that sink in. We cut off funding to Australian universities, and they're having an emergency meeting. If you just digest that for a second and you think to yourself, why would you be having an emergency meeting simply because we stopped funding you? Well, number one, it was $600 million a year. $600 million per year of your money has been going to fund Australian universities. I've said it many times, I'll say it again. I think when we start digging, we are going to find out how many of these sovereign countries across the world are not really sovereign countries. How much are we given to all these countries so that they can hang a flag and wink wink do us deals that aren't benefiting Americans, maybe some of the people in political office, but how many of these countries across the world are truly sovereign, can really truly sustain themselves without your money? So if it's causing an international issue where Australia has to have an emergency meeting because we're no longer funding their universities, then you're not self-sustaining. You are not a country. You require outside investment in order for you to be solvent. $600 million is not a little bit of money. Especially since it comes every single year. Think what America could do with $600 million. And now you've got Australia freaking out and all these other countries freaking out because they're not getting your money. And the Democrats are pissed off and running to the courts every chance they get to try and say, yeah, we keep making them give the money. We're done. We are done. And the theme of this show tonight or this afternoon is there is no choice. President Trump has to ignore these judges. They know it's coming. They absolutely know what's coming. They're starting to get really vocal about Trump ignoring the judges. They know these judges have no standing. They're trying to push Trump into a corner, and what keeps happening is every time they run to the pollsters and try to see what the wind blows, his numbers keep going up, and people keep agreeing with everything he's doing. Why? Because it's starting to affect you personally. You're starting to see lower gas prices. You're starting to see lower grocery prices, lower egg prices. And now, because of Doge, you're now starting to see, what in the hell are we giving $600 million a year to Australia for? It's making people question things. Another thing you're seeing is the insanity of them trying to terrorize Tesla dealerships. This morning, they found a bomb at a Tesla dealership. Why would you be planting explosives at Tesla dealerships? What has Elon Musk done other than expose the corruption? And so they've got their orcs out there causing all kinds of problems, fighting in the street, shooting up dealerships, bombing them, throwing Molotov cocktails. For what? What has Elon Musk or President Trump done to any of these people except try to improve their lives? real people can see this. Real people understand it doesn't make any sense. We can actually see the different things that are happening to try and improve our lives. The Democrats can't explain why this is happening. There are so many man on the street videos being posted on Twitter where people are asking them, "But excuse me, so what is it you're protesting?" He's a Nazi. Okay. Besides that, what are you protesting? And they don't have any answers. Nobody can give a rational answer as to why they're out there protesting, which means they don't believe the same stuff that everybody else does. They're just either being paid or they're just completely nuts. If I was protesting something, if I went to an anti-baby removal protest, I could tell you why I'm there. Listen, I don't think we should be removing babies, especially in this manner. And really especially after they've been born. I could tell you, I feel it's murder. I might not like it, but I could tell you. Why is it these people can't tell you anything? And the other thing they're seeing is their entire ideology. We're not gonna the entire ideology that they've been fostering and trying to breed, all this wokeism stuff is going off the cliff. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I knew this would happen. I knew once America started down this path of coming back, people would see it and go, "Man, that was some stupid shit." I say poor Disney only because when Ashley was a kid, she loved Disney, and now my grandkids, they love Disney. And I used to work at Disney, full disclosure, and Disney was fun to work at as well. And I see what it's become, and it's like crazy, absolutely crazy. With the whole movie Wicked, and now they follow it up with woke Snow White. I'm surprised they still named it Snow White. Wouldn't have mattered either way. The movie's tanking, and it's taking their stock down with it. I saw this today. Let me share this with you.
Here's a 5-year chart. It's not doing much today. So
it didn't get good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, it's a crappy movie probably too. But
I didn't see it. But.
It was. I mean, media. The challenges faced by all media companies are well known. But that was almost $200 a share, 190 or so back when we thought Disney Plus was going to take over the world during the pandemic. So it's lost $100. It's now at about of stock price now below 100. Coming up, the latest stuff from Washington. I don't know how much of that is.
It's right there in front of people. People always say, prove it. Where's the data? The data is right there. The movie with all the fanfare, all the fanfare that they put behind it with this idiot Snow White actress going out there and saying F you to Trump supporters. What did you think was going to happen? And so now that completely tanks. But it didn't tank as worse as the worst tanker of the week. I grew up loving, for some reason, maybe because I'm a guy, I used to love mob movies. I loved The Godfather, loved Goodfellas, loved Casino, loved all those movies. And then Robert De Niro decided he wants to open his mouth. Robert De Niro just opened a brand new movie this weekend. That movie, I believe, is called The Alto Knights. And it's a movie about two mob families, the Costello and Vito Genovese. And it was a really interesting movie. Robert De Niro actually plays both guys. With the different way you can do AI and the makeup and everything, he plays Vito Genovese and he plays Joe Costello. I'm like, that's a novel idea, and it's about the New York mob, which I'm like, I would love to go see it. But Robert De Niro's in it, and I'm not giving him a dime. And lo and behold, I wasn't the only one. Many people who I know love mob movies were like, sorry, ain't going. The movie opened nationwide. Nationwide movie. A nationwide mob movie from the same people who did Goodfellas, starring Robert De Niro, the guy who's been in so many mob movies, did $3 million nationwide. That's embarrassing. Robert De Niro should have taken $3 million out of his own pocket. Robert De Niro should have said, you know what? I'm going to buy like $5 million in tickets so it doesn't look this bad. $3 million nationwide means everybody went, nah, I don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to see it, which is absurd. Any of you people who have watched Goodfellas or The Godfather 1, 2, and or 3 and were into Casino and all the different movies that have been out there. What was the one they did with Hoffa? I mean, all these movies that people love to see, the mob movies. It had a certain cachet to it. Sometimes in Jersey, it'd be like an autobiography. The guys could see each other. Oh, that's you, Rocky Joe the Megabones over there. Yeah. Now, nobody. And you have to look at it that it's Robert De Niro's fault. Absolutely his fault. So we're waiting on Trump to come up. I don't want to start the full show until, he comes up, because if we start the full show and then he comes up, then we would have to break. It looks as though they're showing some stuff right now about the cabinet.
And I think that the country owes you a great debt of gratitude, and the world, really. Because, you're the only leader in the planet that can bring the two sides together to bring an end to this conflict, and that's what you've done, and you've done it despite, impediments from other countries and others who maybe have different opinions about how this should go. But ultimately, I think that the only chance we have for peace is through the president's leadership, and you've shown that, and we hope it'll bear fruit, and today will hopefully be one step more in that direction.
Thank you, Marco. And on the Middle East, another hot spot that we didn't have a problem with. There was no problem in the Middle East when we left, and now there's a lot of problems in the Middle East, but we're working on that. But I think we've seen significant progress, and I think we're going to start, we were talking with the Vice President a little while ago, and you're going to see countries start to fill up the Abraham Accords. More and more countries want to join. That was a great success, tremendous success, and then Biden and his group did zero with it. That should have been filled up within a year of the election, would have been filled up. So countries are starting to want to get involved very much with the Abraham Accords again, so that'll be great. JD, do you want to say something?
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir. Just on that topic, if you think about what happened with the Abraham Accords, one of the great diplomatic breakthroughs under the first Trump administration, really in the last 30 or 40 years of American history in the Middle East, and the Biden administration did absolutely nothing with it. Built on it, not at all, added zero additional countries. Purely out of political spite, the Biden administration, I think, hurt the United States and really hurt the project of world peace. That has changed. Luckily, about 2 months ago, we got a new president. And that president has given us the task of building out the Abraham Accords, adding new countries to it. And really what you see is a lot of these countries that have historical, ethnic, or religious hatreds want to build. They want to build new artificial intelligence. They want to build new real estate projects. They want their citizens to become rich and prosperous and peaceful. And they're setting to the side some of those old hatreds under the leadership of President Trump. So it's early, but we made a lot of progress, and we'll keep on making progress, sir.
Thank you, JD. One of the things that's very important, I think, to mention, I saw a show yesterday, and they had a Democrat congressman on. It was on Fox. And he said, well, President Trump said prices would be coming down, and instead he's focused on other things. Well, we are focused on a lot of other things, like peace, like all of these companies that are moving in and jobs. But what he didn't say is that prices have come down very substantially. And if you look at when I came in after 1 week, they were screaming at me about eggs. Eggs had nothing to do with me, but they were through the roof, and you couldn't get them. And now they're down about 35, 40%, maybe even more than that. I'm going to let Brooke, if you would just discuss that. And groceries generally. Prices are coming down, and energy prices are coming down. And I hope the Fed lowers interest rates, and then you're going to see interest rates coming down, and I'll have you speak about that in a second, Scott. Brooke, go ahead.
Well, sir, thank you. I think the first thing that's really remarkable to note is that the prices of eggs under the 4 years of Joe Biden increased 237%. 237% in those 4 years, and yet it wasn't covered in the press at all. No one talked about the price of eggs in the summer of last year, for example, from the media. So, of course, the president wins and he is inaugurated, and the next day, everyone is yelping about why the price of eggs are so high. So it was certainly one of many, many issues we took on under the 4 years of Joe Biden. We had the cost of input go up 30% for all of our agriculture products. At the same time, the trade deficit increased $49 billion. So it was zero under the first Trump administration. And then under Joe Biden, we sold $49 billion less of our ag products around the world. Then you combine that with the avian bird flu, and I know I've talked to a lot of you in the press on this over the last 3 or 4 weeks. But listen, here's the deal. The president, under his vision and support, we released about a month ago a very significant plan on how to bring the price of eggs down. It included 5 prongs. I won't go into it now because I don't want to bore everyone, but since that day, since we released that plan regarding biosecurity, repopulation, importing eggs, research, and then deregulating, taking those onerous rules off of our farmers, our egg-laying farmers. Since that time, the price of eggs, the wholesale price of eggs, has come down 53%. So we're going to keep working on it. Listen, it's not something you solve overnight. Avian bird flu and some of the other animal diseases, we're working across the government, several partners out in the cabinet on that, especially my friend Secretary Kennedy over at HHS. But we have a long-term solution, but at least for now, in the short term, thanks to President Trump and so many that have worked so hard, the price of eggs are coming down, as well as the price of groceries. So thank you, sir, for the opportunity to lead on that.
And the number is 53%, and they're readily available. So I think it's a fantastic job. And overall groceries are down, too.
That's right. They're coming down.
So the consumer's finally seeing some good news instead of year after year of prices going up because of grossly incompetent leadership. Scott, do you want to talk about interest rates, where you see it all going?
Yes, sir. So we are, under your direction, we're reprivatizing the economy. We're bringing down government spending. We're bringing down excess employment in the government sector. On the other side, we're going to re-leverage the banking system. We're going to have all the new manufacturing jobs, so everyone is laid off from the government will have an opportunity to go into the private sector, and that is going to lead to disinflation. Inflation is under control. We're going to get the affordability crisis fixed. So lower energy, deregulation, more private sector jobs that will naturally get interest rates down. Interest rates down. Mortgage rates are down almost every week since January 20th. The energy costs are down about 15%. Crude oil's down about 15%. And as we keep that going, interest rates are going to keep declining. It'll be good for mortgages. It'll be good for credit card debt. It'll be great for auto loans.
That's great. And you're doing a really, really good job. I'd like to see the Fed lower interest rates. That's just my opinion. Because things are coming down. We have inflation under control. Tremendous amounts of money will be soon coming in from tariffs, which is about time that we were able to partake. We've been ripped off by every country on that basis, and it's about time. But that will be, I think, treated very fairly, will be very fair. But the money that we're talking about is rather astronomical, and it should be, because we put years and years. I was able, in the first term, we had a great first term with the highest stock price increase ever, all the different things that we had. But one of the things, we took in a lot of money in tariffs, and I had just started that process. And we had to slow it down because of the COVID. We didn't go forward. We did a very good job with COVID, but that was something that happened to the whole world. It was a shame. What a shame. All those people dead. And all of the problems that it caused for countries far worse. I mean, some countries still haven't recovered. Economically, they haven't recovered. But we took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs just starting the process. But this is a program that's going to be, I think, unbelievable for our country. And I think it's treating other countries very fairly, very, very fairly. I'd like to ask, if I might, Sean Duffy to say a few words about the air traffic control situation. You know, there were some mishaps, one in particular, the helicopter crashing into the plane. We have a system that's 40 years old. They spent tens of billions of dollars trying to patch it up, and make it work, but it doesn't work. And my pilot says they use different systems. They don't want to use our system. It's so obsolete. And it's an obsolete, horrible thing that happened with respect to it. And we were going to, I said, day one, if this happens, if we are successful, we're going to have to get a brand new, modern, top-of-the-line air traffic system. And I think I can say that I've been working a little bit with Sean on it, but Sean's been working hard on it, and with his new person at FDA, who's going to be terrific, by the way. And maybe you want to talk to them about that, because we need safety in the air, total safety in the air, and this will give that to you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. We had a conversation on Friday. Again, our air traffic control system, as we talked about maybe privately or I don't know publicly with all of you, but we have decades of ideas and billions of dollars, and no progress is ever made on any of these initiatives. Air traffic control is the same thing. And so we're having a conversation about building a state-of-the-art, brand new, best technology, envy of the world, air traffic control system. And what's interesting from the DOGE team is they'll look and say, well, what is the problem? Why hasn't this been built? This is about safety. This is about people's lives. All of you fly. Your family flies. Why hasn't it been done? And the problem is, in government, it takes way too long. So technology changes and money changes and administrations change. We have to do this fast, which is why we need the partnership from the Congress to give us the money up front. The best ideas and the best technology available in the world, we're going to build in the system. I think, Mr. President, we can do it in 3 years. I think Trump Tower was built in 3 or 3.5 years. I think we could match the Trump Tower time frame.
2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
Maybe not that year.
Actually, 18 months to be exact.
About 3 years. And again, you have to choreograph, because again, our towers are operational, keeping planes in the air. So we've got to choreograph this, but we can do it in short order. If I could just make one other point, Mr. President. We're $36 trillion in debt. You've never had a DOGE. We've never come in and looked at our government the way, Mr. President, you've looked at this government and said, there's too many people, there's contracts, fraud, waste, and abuse. And so we've had a few bumps in the road as we've gone through this process, but if you look around this room, everybody has seen how the process has evolved, and everyone appreciates some of the insight and technical support that we've gotten to make this government more efficient, to make it more responsive to the American people. And so, again, when you have a new system like this, you'll get some bumps. But things are rolling out. The last 3 weeks have been much, much better as our teams have integrated and we're working to deliver for the American people. And I would say some of the press had made comments last time about what happened in the last meeting. We had a great conversation in the last meeting. Elon and I had a great call after the meeting, and so sometimes the reporting can be a little bit off. I love the analysis that you guys do when you're not in the room. But I would just note that we're working well together, Mr. President, and the whole team here is working well together.
Well, actually, we decided to see you after the cabinet meeting instead of before, and I think that's nice. But if you think about it, I guess never in history has anybody invited you to a cabinet meeting. We're very open and transparent, and we had a very good meeting today. So, I mean, you're standing here, you're seeing what the result of the meeting is. I think we're doing an amazing job for essentially 8 weeks on the job. I think it's there's never been anything like it. Did you have a question, please?
Two, actually, if you don't mind. And thank you for having us in here. We appreciate it. One, actually, to follow up on the Attorney General's comments, and then one for you. You said that you're now preparing to prosecute examples of fraud across federal agencies that have been referred to you. Is that what you said?
We are working with a team. We have a team of attorneys in place working with Elon's incredible team, helping us, taking referrals from the cabinet members. You know, these are your tax dollars. And a lot of it is just abuse, a lot of it's waste. But if it's fraud, we are investigating it, and we are looking at multiple cases of fraud throughout the federal government.
One for you, Mr. President. Greenland is confused about the Second Lady and the National Security Advisor visiting this week. They're concerned that this is further provocation of whatever it is you ultimately want for Greenland. Could you further explain why they're going? What is the ultimate end goal when it comes to Greenland?
Well, not provocation. This is friendliness, not provocation. We're dealing with a lot of people from Greenland that would like to see something happen with respect to their being properly protected and properly taken care of. They're calling us, we're not calling them. And we were invited over there, and I thought it would be I have great respect for the wife of our of our great vice president. I think she's a brilliant woman. She's a very nice woman, and she loves the concept of Greenland. And so she's going there, and I think Marco's going there, and some others are going there. But we've been invited, and they really like the idea because they have been somewhat abandoned, as you know. They haven't been taken good care of. And I think Greenland's going to be something that maybe is in our future. I think it's important. It's important from the standpoint of international security. And if you look at the ships outside of Greenland, you have Russia, you have China, you have lots of different people and lots of different places, and it cannot go on the way it is. It's not going to go on the way it is. I'll make a statement. It's not going to happen. So they're going there, and that's purely friendship.
Who's doing the inviting? You said people.
A lot of people, yeah. People from Greenland are asking us to go there. We have many, many requests from many, many people, some officials too.
Mr. President,
yes,
I ask
please.
you about economic forecasts. I saw one economic forecast coming out from the OECD this past week. They are forecasting stagflation for the United States, a downtick in terms of GDP growth. Do you agree with that forecast? What do you see over the course of 2025 for our country?
Well, we inherited a very, very bad and perilous situation from a group of people. Again, we just got here from a group, and this takes a long time to develop, from a group of people that truly didn't know what they were doing. And you see that with not only costs, you see that with all of these fake contracts that have been given out. So we inherited a bad situation, but I think we're going to have an economy that booms. I think when it all kicks in, it's not going to take very long, because some of these people that announce that they're going to spend billions of dollars, I mean, literally, Apple is spending $500 billion. They've never made anything close to that to do that. They're building plants here instead of China, instead of other places. When it all happens, and it's going to happen very soon, these are people that are already, in many cases, they're already starting. They just announced. In some cases, they announced, but they actually started before the announcement, as you know, because some are already building. This is going to kick in. I think it's going to be amazing. So they're looking at, based on numbers that I was looking at 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I was very concerned about the economy. We're going to have something that's like nobody's ever seen before. We have numbers, and we have job generation that I don't think we've ever seen before. See how it works out, but I think the economy is going to go through the roof.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
also,
please.
Sir, about Ukraine, in an interview with Time magazine published this morning, President Zelensky said he believes that some members of your team have been influenced by Russian information. Those were his words. What do you have to say to that?
Well, probably they have been influenced to get this thing settled, because Ukraine wants to see it settled. I think they have to have it settled, and Russia wants to see it settled. And I think if I weren't president, this would never happen. Marco's doing a great job, and Steve Witkoff has been incredible. Michael Waltz. We have a great group of people working on it, and that takes a good part of their day, settling something that really, it affects us monetarily because we've given so much money, and we're getting that done. In fact, Scott has told me that the agreement on rare earths is just about completed. They'll sign it shortly. So it's, as you know, Europe is in for a very small fraction of what we're in for. It affects them much more than it affects us. Again, they are in as a loan, which nobody knew until I came along. Europe is giving the money to Ukraine as a loan. We were just pouring money into Ukraine. It was a very unfair situation. So we made a deal on rare earths. But most importantly, we want to stop the killing that's going on. 2,500 on average, mostly soldiers, a week are being killed. And they're Russian and they're Ukrainian, and if we can stop it, that's a very important thing to me on a human basis. Okay, anybody else?
Are you signing the rare earths deal today? Is that what you mean?
No, we'll be signing it soon.
So how's Ukraine?
It'll be signed very soon.
China. Can I ask another question on Ukraine? You,
Yeah.
you recently mentioned the fate of all the Ukrainian children abducted and transported to Russia.
Right.
So are you demanding that Russia return these kids to their families in Ukraine?
Well, it's one of the things that we're talking about. I know that no decision's been made. We're talking about territory right now. We're talking about lines of demarcation. We're talking about power plant ownership. Some people are saying the United States should own the power plant and then work it that way because we have the expertise to fix it up, et cetera, et cetera. It's okay. Something like that would be fine with me. But they are talking about ownership of the big nuclear power plant in particular. But all of these things will come up, and they have come up, and that has been discussed, yes. Okay, I want to thank everybody very much. This was a great meeting. These are phenomenal people. We're lucky to have them. I have to tell you, I want to thank you all. And Elon, I want to thank you. I know you've been through a lot with this horrible situation that happens. It's a very unfair. What he is a patriot. Here's a man that I can tell you, he's a friend of mine. He's become a friend of mine. He supported me in the election. That's when I got to know him, really. I knew him a little bit from the first term, but not much. But he's a patriot more than anything else. Never think of it. He has never asked me for a thing. He could have. I always say, I wonder if he's ever going to ask me for something. And that's always subject to change. And if it does change, I'll let you know about it. But Elon has never asked me for a thing. I mean, I got rid of the electric car mandate. I have no idea how that affects him, but possibly not good. I don't know. But he's never asked me for a thing. And I think that's an amazing tribute. I did get activated last week when I saw what they were doing. I said, he makes an incredible product, and we're going to go out and tell people you can't do that stuff and support him. They got to support him, because if he wasn't doing this, he wouldn't have any of these difficulties. And I think it's getting less and less. Pam has done a great job with regard to all of the, I know the kind of investigations that are going on. If she finds them, which she will. She already found 4 of them.
She will.
But I think they're going to suffer very grave consequences, because they're really terrorists when you think about it. They're terrorists at a high level. And I think the people that are financing them, they could very well be people I know, people that you write about. But those people are in big trouble. So they better cut it out. But Elon's a patriot. We want to thank you very much for the job you're doing. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
How many more press do you expect to come? Thank you.
Thank you.
Just also say thanks to.
Okay, for through the magic. Wait a minute, is he still talking? Oh, wait a second. Elon's saying something.
To the American people, just a thank you to the Doge team who are literally getting death threats and being accosted. And these are a lot of them are just kids. They're just trying to help out, and they're very talented. They could get jobs for millions of dollars a year. Instead, they come here, earn peanuts, and get death threats. So thanks to the Doge team.
Thank you.
Okay, so through the magic of television, that was one of those moments ago type thing where they didn't do it live, they just broadcast it afterwards. And right now we're getting ready for the actual press conference with the governor of Louisiana, and they're about to announce the $20 billion investment from Hyundai. So as soon as that shows up, we're going to cut right back to it, and we'll get into that. Now, I just wanted to say one thing. I watch a lot of the comments, and as they come through, especially when I'm not on screen, I can refer back to them. There's a guy in here who's often in our stream, and I just want to say something to you. Maximus, let me apologize if I disappointed you. I don't always see everything. Sometimes in our show, we may get, upwards of 10,000, 15,000. We've gotten as many as 30,000 comments. It's virtually impossible between the speed of the comments plus what we're doing on screen for me to see every single one. However, if there is a super chat, I just want you to know, maybe you're not here 3.5 hours later, but I read every single super chat at the end of every single show, provided I don't mess up. However, I stop reading the super chats when I put on the after party. So any super chats that show up on the screen after I've started the after party, I may not see them. So once I sign off and put on the after party video, I may not see anything. If I catch something, I will say something, in the chat directly. Or I may say something, may pop back in if I happen to be sitting here. But oftentimes what I'll do is I'll put on the after party video, and I know I've got 25 or 30 minutes, and I'm off to the bathroom, off to talk to the wife, and I won't necessarily see anything that comes in after that time. Prior to that time, however, I'm going to try and read everything at the end. So if you missed being acknowledged, I apologize, but that happens at the very end of the show. Just wanted to let you know. I appreciate your viewership. I appreciate that you're here watching, the different episodes, and I definitely do appreciate that. But sometimes, it's very, very, sometimes SV has to tell me put on slow mode because they're moving so fast. So just wanted to say that, and that you're not being purposely overlooked. So apologize. Second thing I want to say is there was and I don't really like to address the trolls all that much, but there was a guy in here who wasn't a troll, and he's like, I'm going to hold Barry's feet to the fire. How do I say this? How do I say this in the most respectful of terms? I don't know, maybe this way.
We're thinking about doing a late night show a couple nights a week where we just have the lunatics on.
I think Alex Jones said that the best. I want to have fun, and I want to work with people and interact with people who want to have fun. I don't need anybody to, quote, hold my feet to the fire. The exact minute, and Ashley will tell you the truth, and my wife will tell you, the minute this feels like a job, the minute this feels like it's a hassle, I'm done. It's that simple. I do this because I enjoy it, not because I have to. I don't know what other podcasters do and why they do it, but me, I do it because it's fun. I can also prove that to you. Those of you who've been around a while know I used to talk, this same channel, I used to talk about real estate. It became laborious, and I'm like, I'm done. Then I started talking about the Miami Dolphins, and it became, they're boring. I'm done. And then I started talking about Trump. So yes, my history will prove to you, if I get bored, if I think it's a hassle, if I think people are, being tools, I just turn it off one day and don't come back. That's just me. Don't mean anything bad by that. And I'm not signaling anybody out, but I enjoy what I do. This is fun. There is no possible way I could do what I do if this wasn't fun. See, a lot of stuff you guys don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It's a lot of work. And, I don't complain about it. I like work. But it takes hours and hours and hours of stuff to put this stuff together. And then, of course, when you're covering somebody like President Trump, depending on what his schedule is and how he's jumping in and jumping out, my first and foremost content is I want to make sure I'm there when President Trump is there. And I want to bring you when President Trump is coming on. So I'm looking at the scene right now that they're setting, and it looks like he's about to come on. And this one, again, is previously recorded. Not sure why he's not going live. I don't know. I know they were supposed to do it at 2. It is now 2:17. But, I respect everybody's opinion. I thank you guys for watching. But I don't need anyone to hold my feet to the fire. I've got a wife. I've got a daughter. And that's pretty much my feet. And you don't know. Trust me. You don't know how many times Ashley and Robin have said to me, yeah, just ignore it. Let it go. I'm like, okay, I'll let it go. I'll let it go, but, it's coming.
We're thinking about doing a late night show a couple nights a week where we just have the lunatics on.
Oh, I saw that. I'm like, oh, I so got to clip that. It's going to be so much fun. All right, so everybody's getting ready. They're standing in line. They're waiting for President Trump to come in the room. Let me show you this. See, I haven't even started most of my show yet, and it's still sitting there. Maybe I'll end up having that show at 7 o'clock because everything that's going on. Here's what's going on in the reception room. I'm not sure which room in the White House this is, but you can take a look. So as you see, not much is going on. They're all just hanging out. Mike Johnson, I see Steve Scalise, I see 2 minutes. She just came in and gave the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes before President Trump comes out. I love when they do that. I feel like I'm playing football again. 2-minute warning. Two minutes. Okay, we got it. Big guy's coming out in 2 minutes. So in that 2 minutes, let's take a few comments. I wouldn't give these trolls the steam off my. I love that. Somebody said it's a room full of money there. Barry, may I just say that you're one classy guy for taking the time to acknowledge your. I love it. That's the kind of input I'd like to say. Hey, man, I did some super chats and I feel disappointed. All right, let me address that. Telling me you want to hold my feet to the fire? Maybe I'm taking that wrong, but I don't need that. But thank you. Let's see, 2 minute warning. We're going here. I worked in television for over 30 years, and it's harder than you realize. And you know what's funny? It's not like sweaty hard work. It's not like my dad when you had to like hit things with a hammer and that kind of stuff, or carry heavy pipes when you made. The thing is, you know what's let me be honest with you. The hardest thing about doing this is making sure everything's working. You know, I don't mind the editing, I don't mind the clipping and doing all these different things, but you know, the lights on, is the microphone on, is the internet connection on? There are so many things that could happen that can break this. Any part of this connection, the feeds, the board, and if any one of those things goes down, it just collapses. So that's the hardest part, is juggling all this, because you don't know. Here's the funny part. You don't know if anything's going to happen until you go live. And you're like, oh, okay, it's working. And some people have asked me, as I'm filling some time here, before he comes up in his 2 minute warning, people say, why do you have such a long intro? Well, you ever go to a concert? I'm sure most of you have gone to a concert. And when they go out to the band that you go to see comes out to concert, they're playing a couple songs, maybe one song before they get into their good stuff, because it's a sound check. You want to make sure everything's working. Is the bass playing? Is the treble, the microphone, kick drum? Okay. And the guy in the soundboard is doing all this. I know this because I promoted over 1,500 concerts. In addition, you want to make sure all the people who are getting drinks and going to the bathroom, get back to your seat. The show's about to start. So I run about a 3-minute intro solely for that purpose. Come on in, get in your seats. While that's running, I'm checking microphone levels, all this different stuff to make sure everything. And you won't believe how many times while that's running, I'm like, oh crap, that's not working. What do I do? I try to do. Oh, let me go to the laptop over here. And so I should do a behind the scenes video one time so you guys can see this entire setup. And you can see, oh man, it looks like mission control in here. It does. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 monitors. I've got my headset. I've got backup headset in case that one doesn't work, or if the battery power doesn't happen. You got lights here. You got lights up there. You got lights behind me. It's a pain in the butt. But in any event, just one. I should set up a camera back there that I can give you a shot of from behind, so you can see. Whoa, wow! I see all this stuff that's happening, and you can see what I'm seeing right now in terms of. Actually, I have two monitors right here. You got the current monitor, then you have what's up next monitor, then I've got this one, then I've got this one, and I got this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monitors in a space that's about the size of my arm length, about 6 feet from one end to the other, all crapped in here. And then I live in South Florida. So you can imagine in this room with all these lights and everything, the heat that gets exhibited, plus on my computer. And we got to crank the AC down, but not too far because you don't want the AC noise coming into the microphone. Whew. I said all that in 2 minutes? Good. Oh, gosh, it's too funny. So anyway, that's a little late behind it. The long intro gives us extra time to greet each other and well before Barry starts talking. Yeah, that's what it is. A behind-the-scenes show would be amazing. Yeah, okay. I might just do that. Just so, you know what I'll do? I'll have Robin come in one time. And here's another thing. Like, she's not here right now. So I've got my door open so the dogs can go back and forth and not get lonely, and they mill around my feet. And then what'll happen, she'll come home, the door will open, and they'll start barking, and then, by then, the Trump should be talking, and at that point, I can basically hit mute, and then remember to turn the button back on. Whew, all that. Yes, I've been on stage under lights, and I understand that. Yep. It can get this way. Let's see here. That would be awesome to see your setup. Yeah, okay, I can do that. When all good, I have to work and catch bad guys. You're a cop. Okay. Oh, that's right. All good, I have to go to work and catch bad guys. That's right. I remember you told me you were a police officer or law enforcement. Not sure which one. Add a peak camera ever so often to I had seen this one streamer and I loved what she did. She had a like her brake camera. She had a camera hovering over her dog so you could see what her dog was doing. I always thought that was kind of cute as well. Let's see here. You should have someone handling the audio because you're terrible about taking the mic off. Yes, I know, but there's nobody here. If I moved into an actual studio, then I would have a producer and do those things. And I thought about that. I really thought about, excuse me, creating an actual studio and hiring somebody. That's mulling through it right now. Begin looking at space where I could do that. Because where I want to take things may indeed be to a point where we actually have a working studio. And then, if that happens, then of course I would hire a producer. I sort of have a producer now. She's more of an executive producer. Ashley's like an executive producer. She's the one who books the guests. She's the one who works with Rumble and talks to them about, what we're going to be doing and how we're going to be doing it. Unfortunately, one thing I'll say good about Rumble, I actually have someone to speak to. Ashley and my rep from Rumble actually text. They're always in contact. YouTube, I haven't heard from anybody. Unless I reach out for advertising purposes. When you want to spend money, they'll talk to you. And the same thing with X. Unless you're spending money, they don't have anything to say to you. So, in that regard. I would love it if you interviewed one of your listeners once per week to answer questions. That, I can tell you, is definitely coming. I'm already trying. I don't know if you remember. I tested it about a month ago. I had Tommy Radcliffe on and interviewed Tommy and talked to him. He was one of the viewers. But the person who I'm talking to, needs a whole setup on their end. They need a camera. They need lights and the whole 9 yards. So if I just go with telephone calls, that could be different. So we're thinking about that. We love the show. Thank you very much. So that 2-minute warning came and gone. And he's still not up as of yet. Everybody, when you're waiting on the president, I guess you can't complain. Because I'm looking at all the people in the room. All these House Speaker Mike Johnson, Congressman Steve Scalise, the governor of Louisiana, some other dignitaries from Hyundai, and here comes the boss right now, walking out. Here he comes.
Let's go to President Trump right now in Washington, D.C.
That's a big win for Louisiana.
Speaker. Okay, we have a beautiful announcement to make. It's very exciting. Money is pouring in, and we want to keep it that way. And I think that's what's going to happen. We have tremendous interest in our country level, and that's something that's never happened. And I think hopefully it's because of the election on November 5th, but it's also because of tariffs, I suspect, Governor. But I'm thrilled to welcome.
Please let me know in the comments if the volume is good.
And to have you at the White House. And we thought this was going to happen. And I said, if you get it signed up, we'll do it at the White House. And you got it all done. I'm proud of you. Not surprised. Executive Chairman of Hyundai Motor Group, Jung E-sun. Thank you very much. What a great honor. Vice Chairman Jay Chang. Jay, thank you. Hyundai Steel President Soo Gang Hyun. Thank you very much, President. That's big stuff. And former Ambassador Sung Kim. Thank you very much. Great honor to have all of you. Also, and these names are much less difficult for me, but I think we got them right. But this one we will definitely get right. Mike Johnson, our great speaker, and he's been doing a real job. Right, Mike? It's an easy job, isn't it? House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Steve, doing all right, Steve. I'll tell you, he went through a lot, and he's stronger than ever. Louisiana Speaker Philip Duvalier. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Senate President Cameron Henry. State Representative Ken Brass. State Senator Annie Lambert. And Ascension Parish President Clint Cointment. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Great honor. Great to have you with us. Today we're delighted to report that Hyundai is announcing a major $5.8 billion investment in American manufacturing. In particular, Hyundai will be building a brand new steel plant in Louisiana, which will produce more than 2.7 million metric tons of steel a year, creating more than 1,400 jobs for American steelworkers, and then there'll be major expansion after that. This will be Hyundai's first ever steel mill in the United States, one of the largest companies in the world, by the way, supplying steel for its auto parts and auto plants in Alabama and Georgia, which will soon produce more than 1 million American-made cars every single year. The cars are coming into this country at levels never seen before. Get ready. This investment is a clear demonstration that tariffs very strongly work, and I hope other things also, but the tariffs are bringing them in at levels that have not been witnessed. Hyundai will be producing steel in America and making its cars in America, and as a result, they'll not have to pay any tariffs. You know, there are no tariffs if you make your product in America, so it's something that's why so many people are coming. As you know, we have from Taiwan, the biggest chip manufacturer in the world, is coming in with $200 billion, and we have a lot of people coming and plants coming and companies been here, never would have even thought about it. The new steel plant in Louisiana is part of an even larger $21 billion investment Hyundai will be making in the United States over the next couple of years. The company will also be massively increasing its auto manufacturing in Georgia and investing billions of dollars in advanced American technology companies. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to ask the executive chairman to say a few words, and it's a great honor to have Hyundai, a truly great company. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak here today, and thank you for the invitation. And congratulations on the remarkable start to your new term.
It's been good.
All right.
It's been a great one.
So Hyundai Motor entered the U.S. 1986. Since then, we have invested over $20 billion and now support more than 570,000 American jobs across all 50 states. Today, I'm pleased to announce an additional $21 billion in a new investment over the next 4 years, our largest U.S. invest ever. A key part of this commitment is our $6 billion investment to strengthen the U.S. supply chain from steel and parts to automobiles. We are especially excited about Hyundai Steel's multi-billion investment in a new facility in Louisiana, which will create 1,300 American jobs and serve as the foundation for a more self-reliant and secure automotive supply chain in the U.S. To mark this milestone, we are honored to visit President Trump alongside Governor Landry and Speaker Johnson and Leader Scalise, deepening our partnership with the United States and reinforcing our shared vision for American industrial leadership. And this week, we are also proud to open our new $8 billion auto plant in Georgia. With this, our U.S. vehicle production will exceed 1 million units per year, as President mentioned. Our decision to invest in Savannah, Georgia, creating more than 8,500 American jobs, was initiated during my meeting with President Trump in Seoul in 2019. That's right. Yeah, and after that, 2020 in Davos, I mentioned about the new plant. So American Jobs was initiated during at the time. Now, as we proudly mark the completion of this transformative project coincides with the beginning of President Trump's second term, making this moment even more special.
Thank you.
Yeah. Furthermore, HMG will purchase $3 billion worth of U.S. LNG to support America's energy industry and enhance our energy security. All of these efforts will accelerate the localization of our supply chain in the U.S., expand our operations, and grow our American workforce. With your leadership, Mr. President, Hyundai Motor Group is proud to be a stronger partner in America's industrial future. I'd like to personally invite you to visit one of our state-of-the-art manufacturing facility and see firsthand our commitment to the United States and our American workers. Right. So thank you to our American partners and employees and communities. We are really proud to stand with you and proud to build the future together. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I thought maybe we have our great speaker and we have two very good friends, Mike and Steve, and you come from a certain state that we're talking about right now that we love, and I've done very well there. I've always won by a lot. I love that state, so I was happy to hear about it. That's why I said, come on over. But Mike, would you and Steve like to say a few words,
Sure.
please?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. President. We're excited. It was mentioned earlier what a great start we've had to your second term, and we're just getting started. Everyone should know that. There'll be more of this because it's the policies that are bringing about the great growth, and it's about leadership. And we have a strong new leader back in the White House, and it makes a big difference because everybody around the world is seeing that, and everyone around the country is applauding it. We were on district work period last week, and Steve Scalise and I and our colleagues were traveling around the country doing campaign events, raising money, doing all the things that are necessary to ensure that we keep the House majority for the Republican Party. And I'll just tell you, I was in multiple states over the last week, and everywhere I went, Mr. President, people are excited. There's this great sense of relief. almost euphoria out there because they know that America's back. This is the America First agenda. We're so grateful for these great friends with Hyundai to invest in Louisiana. We have extraordinary leadership on the state level, and leadership makes a big difference. We're so grateful to be a part of this. We want to tell you all this is a great investment in Louisiana and in America. More to come. Thank you so much. Steve?
Well, thank you again, Mr. President, for opening up the White House to this great group. Governor Landry has brought the same kind of energy to the governor's mansion in Louisiana that President Trump has brought to the nation in the White House. Some people marvel at President Trump's stamina. Over the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday, we spoke by phone on some different legislative initiatives that we're working on with Speaker Johnson to continue moving the agenda forward. Those very things that President Trump ran on, he's delivering for the American people. And this announcement by Hyundai is one more example of how that agenda that President Trump ran on to make America first again is working for the American people. When you talk about 1,300 plus really good jobs in Louisiana, those are all American workers. That's billions of investment coming in from Hyundai into the United States that would not have been here without President Trump's leadership. And I think people know that, they see it. It's been a long time coming, but we applaud the work that Hyundai is doing with Governor Landry to come to our state. But for President Trump, we're seeing this all across the nation, and we're just getting started. A lot more to come, Mr. President.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions, please? Yeah, please.
The size of the investment, partly because of tariffs. On April 2nd, the reciprocal tariffs will go into effect. Is it truly reciprocal? Are there some countries that might get a break or some sectors that might get a break?
Well, I may give a lot of countries breaks, but it's reciprocal, but we might be even nicer than that. We've been very nice to a lot of countries for a long time, but I call it Liberation Day. April 2nd is Liberation Day. But today, as you know, we did something with respect to Venezuela. You heard about that, and that will be quite important. We'll be announcing some additional tariffs over the next few days, having to do with automobiles, cars, and having also to do a little bit with lumber down the road, lumber and chips. We're going to get all those chip companies coming back. They're already coming back without even doing it. So it's been very good. But we'll be announcing some others. But for the most part, April 2nd will be a big day. That'll be Reciprocal Day. And we'll be bringing some of the money back that's been taken from us. Let's be nice by using the word taken. I don't want to use a stronger word because these guys are professional politicians and they don't like to hear those words. I refuse to use the word stolen from us, but that's a... Oh, it happened. Well, the European Union lowered their tariffs to 2.5%. We were only at 2.5% for cars, which is very low. And as you probably heard, that European Union lowered their number from much higher than that, many, many times our surprise to 2.5%. So that was good. But I don't know that I expect that. It's up to them. But we have reciprocal tariffs.
Mr. President, your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis? Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time. Anybody else?
This announcement on Hyundai, is this a blueprint for you for other automakers to come to the United States to do what Hyundai was doing and investing so much in Louisiana and creating these new jobs?
Absolutely. That's a nice question from you. That's a shocking question, how nice it is, huh? That's okay. That's a question that's a good question, actually. Yeah, sure. Hyundai's a great company. We have other great companies coming in, and we have some that are going to be staying here and very much expanding. And we have a tremendous interest in every business. I can't just say automobiles, but automobiles is a big one. And yeah, this is the beginning of A lot of things happening. We've had, as you know, Apple's announced a $500 billion investment, and other companies have announced 250, 300 billion, but we're well into the $3 and $4 trillion mark, which has never happened to our country before. What it really means is jobs. All we care about is jobs, right? We care about quality and quality of life and safety and security, but we care about jobs. And they're going to have we have a lot of people coming in.
Governor Landry, if I may, Governor Landry, I would love to ask Governor Landry a question, if you don't mind. How did you convince Hyundai to come to your great state? How did you convince them to come to Louisiana?
It was easy. I told them we were going to have a great president this year, right? Look, I think that this is Americans seeing the America First policy in action, right? It's not just promises, it's about action. And not only and I appreciate their patience, because all last year, many of these legislators, the Speaker and the Senate President, we worked on making Louisiana as friendly for business as the president is making America. We worked on public safety. We worked on education reform, which the president's been working on. We worked on tax reform, historic tax reform. And what I can tell you is, to echo what the president said, in Louisiana right now, I believe before the summer's over, we'll have $50 billion worth of construction projects going on in Louisiana. That is a record, Mr. President. It has never happened under any other president, under any other administration. And I can only look at the leadership that he has brought, not only to the White House, but to the world as well. And so to have these executives come here and say, hey, we want to invest in America, because for decades now, what Americans have seen is jobs being offshored rather than onshored. And today's announcement is exactly that. This is a message for all America, that this president and their governors out there care about the American worker.
Mr. President, on your Venezuela tariffs, and I have to tell you that if you have any trouble getting permits, which you won't, come see me. I'll get them for you immediately. All right? But you're not going to have any trouble. You know, we had, when I first got involved in this world of politics, when I went down to Louisiana, you know, the two big LNG plants, and they were stuck for 14 years. They tried to get permits, and these were $12 billion and I think $15 billion plants. And they were working on it for 14 years in one case, I think 13 or 14 in the other. And I was able to get them in less than a week. And they were shocked. And probably some consultant got a lot of money for doing it, but nobody spoke to me about it, other than this gentleman at the time. He mentioned it, and he did. They were in very much different positions, but they wanted to see if we could break the logjam. And I got it done. In one case, I actually got it done in one day. And the other case, I didn't do as well. It took a full week. And they built, and they're up, and they're very successful now. That was a long time ago, but we got it done immediately. You'll have no trouble getting your permits, I guarantee. These people you're dealing with are top of the line. Okay? But just in case, call me.
On the Venezuela tariffs that you announced earlier today, sir,
yes.
You said it's 25% for any country that does business
That's
with
right.
Venezuela.
If they buy their oil from Venezuela, they have to pay a 25% tariff to do business with the United States.
Top of existing tariffs. So, for example, China.
Yes, that would be a top of existing.
45%
That would
tariff
mean,
on China next week.
that's on top of existing tariffs, yes.
And so also next week, April 2nd, as you said, Liberation Day. Is that going to be sector tariffs as well as reciprocal tariffs?
It's going to be everything, yeah. It's going to be everything, but not all tariffs are included that day. For instance, we'll do some, as you know, we have already done steel and aluminum, and that's at a 25% level. And we are going to be doing automobiles, which you've known about for a long time. We'll be announcing that fairly soon, over the next few days probably. And then April 2nd comes, that'll be reciprocal tariffs. But we may take less than what they're charging because they've charged us so much, I don't think they could take it. In other words, they've charged us so much that I'm embarrassed to charge them what they've charged us. But it'll be substantial. And you'll be hearing about that on April 2nd. And it will be Liberation Day because we'll be taking in large amounts of money for our country, and that's lower taxes and all of the things that are good, and jobs, a lot of jobs.
And what's your message to the big corporate clients of the big law firms that you've targeted with your executive orders? Do you want those big corporate clients to find new lawyers?
I just think that the law firms have to behave themselves, and we've proven that. We have others that want to make a settlement also. They, having to do with the election and other things, they behave very badly, very wrongly, and I appreciate the one, you know, these are the biggest firms, and they all came back realizing that they did wrong. and that's why they're doing this. So I just think they have to behave. We have to straighten out our country. We have to straighten out our elections. Our elections are very dishonest, very corrupt, and we have to straighten it out. And it's so easy to do it. And we should go to paper ballots. We should go to one-day voting. We should go to voter ID. And just one other thing, proof of a thing called citizenship in the United States. Wouldn't that be nice? How simple does that sound? Proof of citizenship, voter ID, one-day voting, and paper ballots. You know, paper ballots are very secure. They have watermark paper. It's very intricate stuff. It's very technologically advanced, even though it's paper. And you'd have no trouble. You wouldn't have dishonest elections, and you'd have them all done by 10 o'clock in the evening. You know, France went to that, and not that I want to copy anybody, but many others have also. And they had 38 million votes, and it was all done at 10 o'clock. They had a winner, they had a loser. That was it. Nobody was complaining. And they had it backed up with paper. And it's so easy to do. The other thing, you'd save about, this would cost you about 8% of what the machines cost. So the paper would be much less expensive. So if you're looking to save some money, that's a good way to save it. So it's a shame that we've gone through it. We've gone through a bad election, a really bad election. The election was so bad. And think of it. You wouldn't have had the October 7th disaster with Israel. You wouldn't have had Russia and Ukraine, because that would have never happened. You wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had the type of withdrawal from Afghanistan that you witnessed, which was probably one of the primary reasons that Russia went into Ukraine. They saw that mess, how badly it was handled. They said, wow, this is a paper tiger that was handled by incompetent people. But that wouldn't have, we would have been out, but we would have kept Bagram, the big air base, which is 1 hour away from China where they make their nuclear weapons. Would have been nice to have it, but now, you know who has it now? China has it. And so an honest election, and we wouldn't have had inflation. You know, you had the record-setting inflation. We wouldn't have had inflation. I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to congratulate Hyundai, a great company, and we will do everything possible. And I will say you picked a fantastic state. You're really with tremendous people and tremendous leaders. And Speaker, I want to thank you for doing a great job. You and Steve, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Steve. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Violated the Espionage Act, sir.
Thank you very much, everybody.
If you get a briefing on that, would you let us know, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Yeah.
So basically, in an hour and a half, President Trump held 2 press conferences. The other one was a pseudo press conference where he held it as a part of the cabinet. And in the cabinet, obviously, Elon Musk was there, which is going to cause more liberal head exploding. This one here might just be the final thing that just sets him off for the rest of the day. I cannot believe the number that the governor of Louisiana has said that is coming to Louisiana. Louisiana, you always think of Louisiana and Mississippi as really, really poor states. $50 billion is being poured into the state of Louisiana just because President Trump is president. And now you've got Hyundai saying, we're not going to pay tariffs. This is pretty easy. We're going to find some place where we can build a huge plant. We're going to put $5 billion into building that plant. And then we're going to put another $20 billion in over 4 years. These numbers are just stupendous. I mean, they're so big, I think sometimes people fail to even grasp how much they're talking. Let me put this graphic back up again. Some of you guys may have missed it from the beginning, but this graphic that President Trump posted, just the enormity of what we're seeing. Hold on, let me just grab this here. 1.4 trillion UAE, Saudi Arabia 600 billion, Hyundai 20 billion, Apple 500 billion, Nvidia 100 billion, SoftBank 100 billion, Taiwan Semiconductors, 100 billion. Johnson & Johnson, 55. CMA, whatever that is, 20 billion. Eli Lilly, 27. Merck, just $1 billion. And GE Aerospace, $1 billion. That's a whole lot of ducats. How can the liberals even... I can't imagine. Think about that for a second. This is where the split in the road begins to happen. Regular Americans, if they hear about this, and that's your job, by the way, make sure everybody hears about it. Regular Americans see this and go, what in the hell's going on? How did we not have this investment when Joe Biden was president? The contrast, again, it's amazing. You can't look away from this once you've seen it. You can't think that this doesn't work, that you're watching it. So the left has nothing but lies to give to people. They have nothing but the judges. They have nothing but violence. Speaking of violence, this happened earlier today. Police are on a scene involving multiple suspicious incendiary devices, code word bombs, discovered at a Tesla dealership. At this time, law enforcement is on a scene to a situation in Austin involving multiple suspicious bombs discovered at a Tesla dealership. The bomb squad was called to investigate, and the devices were confirmed to be bombs. They were taken into police custody without incident. This remains an open and ongoing investigation. Be on your tippy toes. It's going to get worse. We are watching, without any doubt in my mind, the death of the Democrat Party. We are watching the death of wokeism. We are watching everything that they've built for decades. Remember, this is something we can say it began sometime around JFK's assassination, may have begun before then, but it's been going on for at least 50 or 60 years. And they've put this machine in place where they've been stealing your money blind, sending it all over the world, and now it's all falling apart. And I know it's 2 months in, and most of us want to have as much results as possible, but imagine what Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are up against. They're up against a machine that was built over 60 years or more in terms of all the intricacies and webbing that they put together to steal your money from every single one of these government agencies. And how many politicians, rhinos as well, Republicans as well. It just wasn't the Democrats. This couldn't have been done just with the Democrats. It took a lot of Republicans looking the other way, talking nice and, at press conferences while stealing your money just the same. And people have lost their lives, and people have tried, I think, over the last 60 years to make things different, and they just couldn't beat this machine. And now President Trump, who had a first bite at the apple, understands where the bodies are buried, and he's coming for these people, and you know what that means. Now, as you see at the Tesla dealership, it's going to start getting crazy because there's nothing else they can do. The last bastion of hope for these nuts is the court system. And if Trump ignores these rogue judges and runs through the stop sign, they got nothing. All they would have at that point is violence. Now, we missed something earlier when President Trump was in a cabinet meeting. He was going around the room. One of the people who we didn't see on camera, which I downloaded the video while he was off camera, was RFK Jr. talking about what he wants to do with the health department. All right, so check this out.
I'm very grateful to you and very grateful for the partnership with Doge, with Elon. We've identified extraordinary waste in my department and HHS. The expenditures, the budget of HHS during the Biden administration went up by 38%. The employees went up by 17%, and healthcare went down. We have 40 comms departments. We have 40 procurement departments. We have 40 IT departments, and we have 40 procurement, HR, none of them talking to each other. We are, with Elon's help, eliminating the redundancies. We are streamlining our department. We're going to go back to providing gold standard science. We're going to get the money to the scientists and to the patients rather than to the administrators and to the bureaucrats. And we're going to restore gold standard science, and we're going to make America healthy again.
You see, one of the things that the the libs are very disingenuous about, is when they say, oh, they're going to touch Medicaid or Medicare and health departments and all this kind of stuff. That's not true whatsoever. What they're doing is, yes, they're cutting the Medicaid budget. I'll say it right now. They're cutting the Medicaid budget. When I come back, I'm going to tell you exactly how they're cutting the Medicaid budget, because I'm going to jump to a commercial right now because the dogs are going to start barking, but I will be right back. Did you know that American homeowners nationwide have over $32 trillion in equity? And cyber criminals, the smart ones that they are targeting that equity with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing. House alarms, doorbell cameras, and deadbolts won't work against these thieves because they're not after your stuff. They're after your equity. I've been a real estate investor for nearly 30 years, and Robin has been an agent for over 22 years here in Florida. I've seen firsthand how scammers can steal your home. It's actually surprisingly easy. If your title isn't being monitored, scammers can transfer the title of your home into their name using a one-page document that they file at the local courthouse. If the document is filed correctly, the county and the courthouse will accept it. They don't even check. Then the scammers can take out loans against your property or even sell it behind your back. The scariest part? It's unlikely that the county office will even notify you. You won't find out anything until a collection notice or even a foreclosure notice starts arriving in your mailbox. But by then, the damage has been done and you're left with a financial and legal nightmare. The best way to protect your equity is with triple lock protection from our friends at Home Title Lock. Triple lock protection is 24/7 monitoring and alerts of any changes to your title, and God forbid, if the worst happens, restoration services at no out-of-pocket cost to you. So when was the last time you checked on your title? If you're like most people, the answer is never, and that's exactly what scammers are counting on. But you can check on your home's title today and make sure you're not already a victim. You can get a free title history report and a 30-day free trial of triple lock protection today by going to HometitleLock.com and using the promo code BARRY or click in the link in the description. If you want peace of mind, go to HometitleLock.com and use the promo code BARRY. Talk to you soon. All right, so right before that, I told you that they are going to be cutting Medicaid. And they are going to be cutting Medicare. And they are going to be cutting in HHS and all these different agencies. What people on the left are lying to people about, and they continue to lie about, is they don't tell them what the cuts are directed at. They're not directed at the entitlements. They're not directed at money that you're going to be receiving if you are, on Social Security. They're directed at the stuff that RFK Jr. just said. 40 different IT departments, 40 different XYZ departments, 40 different who knows what these people are doing. And they're cutting those people, and it falls under the auspices of the Medicaid, Social Security, and these budgets. But they don't tell you that. They lie. Oh, they're cutting Medicaid and Medicare. No, they're not. They're cutting useless money that's been stolen from people to fund these huge sub-agencies within an agency. And it just keeps happening, and they keep finding it, and then they keep running to court and like, no, you can't stop us from stealing, which is the most insane thing ever. Which is why we have to ignore these judges, and which is why President Trump's ratings keep going up, and why most Americans who, aren't nuts fully understand this is what we have to do. This is why we have to ignore these judges. I want you to listen to this. This was another segment that happened off camera. Oh, actually it was on camera, but before I switched over to it. Listen to this.
EPA has now canceled over $22 billion worth of contracts. $2 billion going to this NGO that Stacey Abrams was tied to They received only $100 in 2023. And then the Biden administration gave them $2 billion. The director of the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund saw his former employer get $5 billion. So $20 billion went to just 8 NGOs, and they're all pass-throughs. And then they were giving it to other entities. Many of them were pass-through.
I love the look on President Trump's face. I love that the camera stayed on him. And the guy who's talking off camera, that's Lee Zeldin. And Lee Zeldin found this 20-something billion dollars of money that the left was stealing through the EPA. And he decided he's going to cut it. And this is the whole Stacey Abrams thing. $22 billion. And then the court said you got to keep paying it. Well, they found out today, no, they're not going to pay it. Make me. I love the idea of him standing up to these people and saying, no, we're not going to pay it. Too bad. Make me.
And what you have is all these extra middlemen, they're taking their cut. And the taxpayer ends up getting screwed. They're losing out on all this hard-earned money. They can't afford to have the federal government waste. The partnership with Doge and Elon Musk has been incredible at EPA. Their team is very talented. We wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And of course, this mandate from President Trump to make sure that we identify every last penny, whether we're saving $50,000, $5 million, or $22 billion. We will not rest until every last penny is saved. Thank you, Mr. President, for the opportunity to do this for the American public.
I thank you. I thank you. Here's what's going to happen over the period of, remember, it's only been 2 months. Here's what's going to happen over a period of, 6 or 8 months as these numbers start to be aggregated and as they start digging further and further and further. We're going to find out there's really no problem with A, getting to a balanced budget, and B, reducing taxes. I think all of this is table setting to let you know comfortably, hey, we don't need to take this much in taxes. There's a reason. I really feel, and you guys can quote me on it, and the other guy said he's going to hold my feet to the fire. One of my predictions is there's a reason for this April 2nd date that President Trump is heralding. He keeps calling it Liberation Day. Liberation Day. April 2nd. Was there another day, I don't know, in our country's history when it was very liberating? Like when the Tea Party, when people we had it, we're not doing this anymore. April 2nd falls 2 weeks before taxes are due. And he's about to drop a huge, huge multi-country tariff that is going to bring in gazillions of dollars. Watch what happens in that 2-week period from April 2nd to April 15th. Strap in, put the seatbelt on, because something huge is going to happen in that 2-week period from April 2nd to April 15th. It is going to be economically amazing what you're going to see. If you're seeing hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of investment come now, wait till April 2nd. And watch Howard Lutnick run in and be the most ecstatic guy you'd ever see. And a lot of that has to tie in with what he did today against Venezuela. So he mentioned it in the press conference, and the people in the press were just astounded when he said to them, yeah, this 25% on Venezuela is not just on Venezuela. You want to squeeze a country? Now we're going to put 25% tariff on anybody who does business with Venezuela. Let that sink in. China. Anybody who deals with these people, we're going to hit them with 25%. So here's the notification that he put out in that regard. President Donald Trump announces today that the United States of America will be putting what is known as a secondary tariff on the country of Venezuela for numerous reasons, including the fact that Venezuela has purposely and deceitfully sent to the United States undercover tens of thousands of high-level and other criminals, many of whom are murderers and people of a very violent nature. All right, let's pause there for a second. The President of the United States is putting a secondary punitive tariff on Venezuela. And the reason why he's putting this punitive tariff on Venezuela is because he said they have purposefully and deceitfully sent to the United States undercover tens of thousands of high-level and other criminals. And let me put that back up so you guys can read this, because that's very important. Let me just go ahead and highlight that right here. All right, so for the President of the United States to say that intentionally and deceitfully, meaning you lied, you sent to the United States undercover. What does undercover mean to you? Means that these people had a mission. They weren't just coming here for a better life. It was undercover. Think about that. Which means they've done some investigatory operations to understand that, hey, here's what they did. He didn't just make this up. He found out somehow that Venezuela, with the help of probably Joe Biden, have sent undercover sleeper cells to the United States. Tens of thousands of them. You hearing this? Now you wonder why maybe last weekend he revoked the security clearance of so many people in the Biden administration. He revoked the security clearance of Anthony Blinken. He revoked the security clearance of Kamala Harris. He revoked the security clearance of the Biden family. He revoked the security clearance of Hillary Clinton and many others. Let that sink in. These people must have done something, not my words, his words, to cause him to put a punitive secondary tariff on the country of Venezuela. Not a couple people, the whole flipping country. You are now basically our enemy. Let's continue. Many of whom are murderers and people of a very violent danger. Besides the Tres Leches, among the gangs they sent to the United States is Tren de Aragua, which has been given the designation of a foreign terrorist organization. We are also in the process of returning them to Venezuela. It is a big task. In addition, Venezuela has been very hostile to the United States and the freedoms which we espouse. Therefore, and here's where the meat is, therefore, any country that purchases oil and or gas from Venezuela will be forced to pay a tariff of 25% to the United States on any trade they do with our country. Let's pause there for a second. What's that gonna do? You're China, you're this country, you're that country, you've been doing business with Venezuela. Europe, you buy a lot of your stuff from Venezuela. And now, if you want to do business with us, you're going to get hit with a 25% tariff on top of any other tariffs he has. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, if they're smart countries, they are no longer going to be buying from Venezuela. So what happens next? They're going to have to buy from us. You see what I mean now? Now, drill baby drill takes on a whole different aspect of different things. Now, if we become so energy in the black, where we can afford to send and sell gas and liquid natural gas to people, think about how much money that's going to bring into America. You are no longer allowed to deal with Maduro. It's off limits. If you do business here, you cannot do business there. Bring it. Let's go. Let's do some business. America now becomes extremely, extremely wealthy. Watch what happens on April 2nd. Let's continue. All documentation will be signed and registered, and the tariff will take place when? On April 2nd. Liberation Day in America. Please let this notification serve to represent that the Department of Homeland Security, Border Patrol, and all law enforcement agencies within our country have been so notified. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Bam! Bam! This is amazing. I feel bad for the people of Venezuela, but yeah, your leader, do something. President Trump essentially took and turned the spigot off of Venezuela. You are no longer viable. What happens at that point? That country goes to poop. They're done. They're done. Because people need the American dollar so much that now Maduro has put himself in such a bind. Maduro himself may send over cruise ships full of empty rooms to just bring as many of these Venezuelans home. The one thing he probably wants more than anything else is money, and you're just turning off his money supply around the world. Not just us with an embargo. President Trump is saying, this guy over here is no good. He's persona non grata, and nobody else can do business with him. And if you do business with him, it's going to cost you 25% more on top of what we're already charging you. So we may see tariffs for certain countries go to 50, 70%. That's laying the smack down hard. I mean extremely hard. And I don't mean to get too far in the weeds here, but I want you guys to understand what's about to happen on April 2nd and how he's put it in big, big letters, Liberation Day in America. We're done with all this commie, Marxist, socialist BS. We're about to be extremely wealthy in this country. Get some. I mean, absolutely get some. Let me show you something else. All these other reporters are out there, and I got some things to show you tonight. What's her name? Jasmine Crockett and this person. Oh, Tesla's tanking. Oh my God, Tesla. Oh, this Nazi. That's why nobody wants to deal with this fascist. Oh, really? Maybe, just maybe, they are completely full of crap. Because when you look at this, what I'm about to show you, let me put this in a full, so it fits in the window, because this is like OMG. And just since I've been talking to you guys about this last week, you need to see what has happened. This is kind of stuff that makes me like get really, really excited. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can fit it all in the window. This is when you realize buy the dip. When people say buy the dip, this is what they mean. This is when they were attacking Tesla, and it was all the way down at 223.69. You can't see it, but I'm hovering. It was 223.69. Yeah, you can see it. You can see it right here. Right up there, 223.69. Oh, his stock is tanking. Oh, yeah? Look at it. In 5 days, Tesla stock has gone up 20%. You seeing that? If you had bought the dip, you would have made 20% on your money. People who know, including I'm sure some Democrats, took big positions in Tesla, despite all the people screaming. Maybe some Democrats took positions in Tesla intending for these nuts to cause this. So now the rest of the people who make money understand this was all BS. This was a pump and dump scheme from the beginning. You're Nancy Pelosi. You're one of these people. Yeah, get them out there and start, protesting. Stock goes down. Hey, now do me a favor. Put $200,000 on Tesla right now. Oh, let's move $200,000 into Tesla at 223. Now he just made 20%. So if you put 200 grand into Tesla 5 days ago, you just made $40,000. Like that. That's what these people do. They're not for the little people. The little people go out there, these orcs run around and do their bidding and everything else because they know what's going to happen. Hey, we're going to have protests. The Tesla takedown. Oh, we better. People don't know. Like, wait a minute, we better dump our Tesla stock. Other people know it's about to shoot up because they know people are going to buy the dip. So what did people do? People bought the dip. And right now it's at 274.44, and you would have made 20% on your money in 5 days. That's how you get rich. That's how you get wealthy. And it's not meant for little people. Little people look at that, well, what am I supposed to do? That's not who it's for. It's for these people like Pelosi and Jasmine Crockett and all these other phonies out there. Because they know what's going to happen. I told you a week ago. I'm like, those of you who watch my show, I said, buy the dip. Get some. And I know many people can't afford to play in these markets. You just can't. And they know that too. And they play on your naivete. But I guarantee you, many, many people in Congress said, hey man, go ahead and buy me some of that Tesla. I need to get some of that Tesla. And I just said 200,000. If you put 300 grand in, then you made $60,000 in 5 days. You made more than most people make in an entire year in 5 days. So as I'm telling you this right now, understand, those of you who have certain capabilities, and you now know that just remember, now you have a blinking neon sign that says on April 2nd, everything is going to change. The world as you know it is going to change on April 2nd. It's the biggest commercial for economic development I've ever seen. Ever. This man is telling, the world on April 2nd, or maybe April 4th, you are going to be in a position to make so much freaking money, your head is going to spin. Don't think for an instant that everybody up on Capitol Hill, even the ones who hate Trump and Elon, are thinking, oh man, this is going to be amazing. There are going to be millionaires made. Bitcoin, all kinds. Trust me, you can save this, clip it. Barry said on April 3rd or 4th, things are going to go crazy. Yes, you just saw it. President Trump, your president, who you stood behind, just said, yeah, Liberation Day in big letters right there, and he's putting a punitive tariff of 25% on everything Venezuela puts out. And it doesn't show anything that Venezuela has a cure, meaning a remedy. What can Venezuela do to stop this? Well, I bet you there's going to be a whole lot of people who are going to short sell Chevron and companies from Venezuela who are shipping energy to America. I bet you if you start looking at Chevron stock, it's starting to go boom. After he put this out, it's so easy to look at. So I'm just telling you, understand where this could be going. Let me see if the hit has begun on Chevron as we speak. Hold on, let me see. As of right now, Chevron is up 0.22%. It dipped hard when he put the thing out, and it came back because people bought the dip. Here, let me show you what I mean. See the dip right there? It dipped. People bought the dip, but that's going to round out and come back down. Be ready. I'm just saying. Just understand what's going on. And please don't give me a hard time. I know many people don't have the ability to do anything. I understand that. But it's still going to be beneficial to you because other things that you do and can buy are going to be cheaper. You're going to see gas get cheaper. Why? Because people are going to have to buy it from here, and we're going to be doing all different things. I'm looking at the comments here. Hell yeah, BLS Duker. Hell, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi bought some of that stuff, of that Tesla. Elon Musk is the worst thing ever. Go buy some of that Tesla. Hurry up. They talk out of both sides of their mouths. This is what they do. This is what your government does. Oh, man, it's crazy. Fractional shares, that could work and do stuff like that. I wish I understood this. I was trying to explain it as simply as possible. But put it this way. Let me talk at you from a real estate perspective. And this is something that just literally happened in our neighborhood right here. Excuse me. There's a strip mall literally a quarter mile from our house. When you go out to development, there's a strip mall. And it was kind of like empty. It didn't really do well from COVID. Has my favorite Thai restaurant there. It's got a barber shop. It's got a Tire Kingdom and stuff. And a whole bunch of little retail shops. And most of them, because there's so many big malls here, most of them, without an anchor tenant, weren't doing well. Publix, which is our big grocery store, decided they were going to buy an empty bay, a huge bay, or actually a whole bunch of them, and put a new grocery store in there. And I was talking to the guy who owns the Thai restaurant, because I love it, and he's like, oh, the foot traffic alone. Imagine putting a grocery store right next to your restaurant. That's what's getting ready to happen. The foot traffic alone and the overflow of business from that Publix grocery store is going to enrich everybody. The gas station, the convenience store, everything in that area, now that you've got an anchor tenant the size of a grocery store that everybody needs, has to visit often to go there, and now all that overflow traffic means everybody around it is going to get enriched. That's a very easy example for people to see. The barbershop, gonna get more people. The restaurant, gonna get more people. The dance studio, gonna get more people. That's why they call them anchor tenants. So now, if you knew, if you had seen the plans and it said, oh, Publix is going to be opening right here, and there's an empty store next door, what would you do if you were in business? Well, you'd contact the landlord and say, hey, can I rent that? Can I rent that store that's empty right there? Because in about 3 weeks, if you had done this 6 months ago, but 3 weeks by now, I'm sure the landlord's like, that's going to cost you double. Publix is opening in a couple weeks. But when they first said they were going to put it and they were doing the construction and everything else, and those bays were empty, you could have probably went in and cut a great deal with the landlord because you were guaranteed to make money. So what I'm saying is you basically have the view at this point that on April 2nd, something big's about to happen. Something really big is about to happen. Liberation Day. Liberation Day is on April 2nd. You now know it's coming. You see this punitive tariffs. You see he's going after Venezuela. You can see 20 billion here, 50 billion. What do you think's about to happen? It's going to explode. It's going to explode. I pray that these mom and pop stores always shop at mom and pops. Yeah. And Canada now decides they're going to have an election on April 28th. Guess we'll have 25% tariffs because of the idiots up there. Laughing my ass off. Get some Tesla. You just can see the landscape. And every time I see something with, what's his name, Howard Lutnick, I just smile because that guy is just amazing. He just smiles and he's so happy. He's so happy in his job. I just wish everybody had the kind of joy that Howard Lutnick has, knowing what's coming. Every time I see an interview with him, he's just sitting there smiling. Every time I see Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, he's sitting there smiling. That should tell you something. Watch what they do and don't pay as much attention to what they say. See the moves a couple steps ahead. Skate to where the puck is going to be. Nobody's going to tell you this because they're taking advantage of it themselves. I promise you, some of the prominent Democrats who hate Donald Trump, who disgusted with Elon Musk, are banking hard right now. They're going to tell the constituents, oh, it's awful. Oh, yeah, this is really bad. And they're banking. You know why? Because they're not stupid. It's all a facade. A complete facade. Like George Carlin said, it's a big club, we ain't in it. But there are very certain times when you can see what the people in the club are doing and use it for your own benefit. There's a reason why they're chopping all this stuff. And at this point, from what I've said, you can see for yourself, the Democrats have no message. Nothing. They're done. They've completely abdicated. They've quit. All they can do is go on MSNBC and bitch and racism and this and that. That is no message. They have left their constituency completely high and dry. All they have is the courts. That's it. They're praying that the courts can somehow slow this down. It won't. It won't. He's not paying any attention to it. Yeah, America is our own club. Exactly. Maximus, tell your partner we back the blue. Yes, we do back the blue, and we're seeing this stuff on an amazing level. And it's funny because Trump was talking. I have an entire show I've already built, but I'm going to do it tonight, so we're not here for 5 hours. But so tonight at 7 p.m., I can tell you specifically, at 7 p.m. tonight, we will be doing a full show. I don't think Trump has any press conferences scheduled for later, and we'll be able to go through everything. And depending on how fast we get through it, then I'll deal with the Kash Patel stuff as well. But 7 p.m. tonight. Just enjoy this.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
You know, one of the things I really want to begin doing is focusing more and more on positive messaging. Because when you open a newspaper or you click on the television, it's like, oh, not again. Some rogue judge said, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. So the more I see that, the more it tells me these people are done. And so we need to begin focusing on the things we can take advantage of. And the messaging that we can tell each other, and the messaging that allows even those on fixed income to have some light at the end of the tunnel and say, you're going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. Stay the course. Don't expect miracles in 2 or 3 months. Don't expect Pam Bondi to be bringing people off in chains because they were on Epstein's island. That stuff is going to come. I got an interview also in the can I did this morning with Michael Flynn's sister, Mary Flynn, who talked about it. And I asked her a very direct question. And I said, with everything that you know, being Michael Flynn's sister, and all the people you've talked to, do you think that we're ever going to see accountability for these people who have done bad things? And she goes, without blinking, yeah, we're going to see it. May not be tomorrow, may not be next week. It's coming. It's coming. And I think the Democrats are beginning to know that as well. I think they're starting to see the end is near for them, which is good, which is causing them to do the crazy stuff like bomb different things. President Trump had another announcement today, and I've got a video that I'll show you of her talking about it. I just wanted to announce this because it happened this morning. Don't want to sign off without it. It is with great pleasure that I'm announcing Alina Habba, who is currently serving as counselor to the president and has represented me for a long time, will be our interim U.S. attorney for the District of New Jersey, her home state, effective immediately. Alina will lead with the same diligence and conviction that has defined her career, and she will fight tirelessly to secure a legal system that is both fair and just for the wonderful people of New Jersey. Additionally, John Giordano, who has done a terrific job as the interim U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, will now be nominated as the new ambassador to Nambia. Congratulations to Alina and John. So right about now, Phil Murphy and Cory Booker are quaking. Alina Habba is going to go take over that office in New Jersey. And I would hate to be a criminal in that area, because she, unlike some of these other U.S. attorneys, has been with Trump for a long time, has his ear, knows specifically what he wants. And in case you don't realize it, the job is now available. The reason why she can go there is there is a woman who people thought might have been in charge of the auto pen for Joe Biden, a 43 or 44-year-old prosecutor who was in that job. She got dead. Nobody knows how. 43 years old, worked in the Biden administration, and she's done. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy when you think about it. President Trump is doing something a little later. Let me see what time he's supposed to do it. Let me play this while I look up this, because he may be coming back on. So hold on 1 second. Let me look this up.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so President Trump is... what? Love the timing here. President Trump is about to participate in a celebration of Greek independence. Just got it on just in time. So as he walks out for that, we'll cover that. And as we cover this, then after that's over, I'll do super chats, and then we'll close it down, and then we'll go to show tonight at 7 p.m. It's 3:36 right now. Not sure exactly, but everybody's standing and waiting for President Trump to walk out. So I assume it's imminent. Here, let you see what's going on here.
And get behind the whole peace situation. They may say they're for peace, but they're supplying money and they're supplying weaponry to Ukraine. So we're hopefully seeing freedom prevail in our country and around the world. But that's, I guess, for another day, talking about the EU. But at the end of the day, it's 3:36, Monday, March 24th. Again, thanks so much for streaming in with us on this Monday afternoon. We'll see. I mean, this week coming up, every day, another event that happens live, whether it's a press briefing with Carolyn Levitt or President Trump like this, having a Greek Independence Day celebration. It'd be great to hear who is in the room there with him. Every time he does one of these events, you'd be surprised. You'd be like, okay, this person's of Greek heritage and this person is. And you'd be like, well, I didn't know that. And it's just cool to just get that inside kind of feel of what it's like to be there at the East Room of the White House.
I'm excited to see maybe Kimberly Guilfoyle is there as well as the ambassador to Greece. So we will see who's also in attendance. Of course, it looks like they are getting ready to see the president to celebrate this today, but it's a packed house in there. So I'm sure many dignitaries, and it looks like we have some members of the Greek Orthodox clergy as well in attendance. And it's a great tradition. It's very fun. Being from Chicago, I have some Greek members in my family who have married in, and it looks
Alpito Forest of America.
Mr. President, first of all, allow me to offer the congratulations of the Greek American community on your re-election to the presidency of our nation. We all look forward to a bright future for all Americans. I also want to thank you for creating the White House Faith Office, which promises to be an extraordinary collaboration between your administration and all faith leaders. Today, Mr. President, you bestow extraordinary honor upon the Greek American people with the annual Greek Independence Day celebration here at the White House. As ever, we are all humbled by the prestige of this celebration, and on behalf of all, I thank you. Thank you for continuing this wonderful tradition that recognizes the Greek roots of democracy. We are here to celebrate the world's first democracy, Greece. But we are here also to celebrate the world's greatest democracy, the United States of America. We acclaim and remember the immortal heroes of 1821, who, like those of 1776, gave their all to attain liberty for their land. Mr. President, we especially thank you for your commitment to Christianity, and especially the Christians of the Middle East, who keep Christianity alive and thriving in the lands of its origin. As sons and daughters of the Mother Church of Constantinople, whose longest-serving leader in history is His All Holiness, our Ecumenical Patriarch Bartholomew, we thank you for your unwavering support of the spiritual mission of the Ecumenical Patriarchate in Istanbul. Mr. President, you lead the world. You are the leader of the world. You are the leader in championing freedom and peace between all people. We are very grateful to you for your support of Greece and your support for the cause of justice in Cyprus. Through your leadership, you embody the values of our Christian faith and love for the gospel. You remind me of the great Roman Emperor, Constantine the Great. This emperor, your dear Mr. President, is the one who founded and built the magnificent city of Constantinople, my birthplace, known today as Istanbul. It is my great honor to present you with this Holy Cross. This cross is the very symbol that led this great Roman Emperor Constantine to victory. As Christ revealed to him in a vision, he said, "En tuto nika," told the emperor, means go with this and be victorious, Mr. President. This cross is an everlasting symbol of peace and an invincible trophy, a sign of divine strength and guidance. With this cross, I pray you bring peace to the world and make America invincible.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you very much. I didn't know that was going to happen. but I'll take it. Thank you so much. Greek Independence Day. Wow. I'm delighted to welcome to the White House the hundreds of proud, hardworking Greek American patriots. I know so many of you. I like most of you. Some I don't like. They get to be very tough. Pretty tough people out there, but that's okay. We love you. We love you all. In a few moments, I'll sign the proclamation to officially recognize tomorrow, March 25th, 2025, as Greek Independence Day, celebrating 204 years. That's right, celebrating 204 years of glorious Greek sovereignty and freedom. That's a long time. That's a great thing we're doing, and such an honor to have you. So, having His Eminence, the Archbishop, with us is very special, and I've been doing this from the very beginning. We missed 4 years, unfortunately. Bad things happened. A lot of bad things happened. And the world wasn't doing so well for 4 years, but we're doing well now. We're doing better now than we've ever done. We have things happening with our country that are incredible. And in terms of businesses coming in, I think we're close to $4 trillion now. Nobody's ever even heard of anything like that. And they're coming in, Archbishop, they're coming in at levels that we have never seen, and we're doing well, and the Greeks are doing well. They'll always do well. And I want to thank some of the wonderful Greek Americans working tirelessly by my side, members of my administration, friends of mine, and just incredible people. The President of Science and Technology Policy, Michael Kratsios. Where's Michael? Hello, Michael. Thank you, Michael. And Deputy Secretary of State, Michael Rigas. Michael, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Greeks for Trump. Those are the ones I really like. Christos Marafoxos. Christos, where's Christos? Good-looking guy he is. Thank you very much. And we also have some very powerful Greek politicians like Gus. Gus, will you please stand up? Nobody sees you. Gus Bilirakis. And he's a great friend of mine, and he's doing well. You're doing well, aren't you, Gus, huh? Yeah, I always say, stand up a little higher, Gus. And Mike Herodopoulos. Mike, thank you very much. Where's Mike? Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for everything. Lance Gooden. Where's Lance? I don't know how much Greek you have in you, Lance. You have? Oh, the Greek. You do have. That's the ultimate. You're right. And Joe Wilson, our friend, Joe Wilson. Joe, thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Joe. And EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who's got a big job. Thank you, Lee. He's got a big job. He's got to get those permits out fast because China gives fast permits, right? They don't even do permits. They just say build. Don't worry about it. Chief Financial Officer of Florida, Jimmy Petronas, who's running in a big race. He's running in a big race, and I hear you're doing well in the polls. You got to win that one, but they got to get out and vote, right, Jimmy? Yes, sir. But you're doing great. And my former Chief of Staff, who's a terrific guy, Reince Priebus. Reince. Hi, Reince. Yeah, Reince is a terrific guy, and another terrific guy and woman, by the way. We have John Catsimatidis, number one, and his beautiful wife, Margot. And I want to thank you. And your daughter, Andrea, is here. Good. Wow. That's good. We have the whole family. He's done a fantastic job. The family has with ABC, and they have the biggest radio show and biggest station, I think, in New York. So good. So we have to really be nice to them when we think we're going to win New York. And if you have him on your side, but it's a great family. Thank you very much, my friends, for a long time. Thanks, John. Let me also extend a special welcome to Ambassador Nasica from Greece and Ambassador Sava from Cyprus, two very friendly rivals. Thank you both very much. And the bond between the United States and modern Greek nation goes back more than 2 centuries. On March 25th, 1821, Greek patriots began their noble fight to reclaim their destiny from the grip of a foreign empire, a very powerful foreign empire. President James Monroe said at the time that the whole civilized world had a deep interest in a victory for the Greek people. President Monroe understood that Americans were bound by history and culture to the birthplace of democracy and the cradle of Western civilization. From the pages of our Constitution to the architecture of this capital city, this wonderful city of ours that we're fixing up, starting to shape up very nicely, isn't it, huh? To the very words of the English language, the legacy of the Greeks is all around us. It encircles us. But perhaps the greatest gift we have inherited from that amazing culture is our incredible Greek-American community that is now more than 3 million strong. I worked very hard on getting your votes, but we didn't need to because we got them by a lot, right? We won by a lot, and we love them, and they love us. But we're joined today by one extraordinary Greek-American citizen, Alex Skarlatos. And you know the story of Alex, inspired by his grandfather who fought against the Nazis and the Greek resistance. Alex joined the National Guard after high school 10 years ago following a deployment to Afghanistan. You all read about this. Alex and his friends were on a train from Amsterdam to Paris when a bloodthirsty radical Islamic terrorist began shooting innocent people all over the train. They were falling left and right. In an act of tremendous valor, Alex and his comrades charged the gunman despite being completely unarmed and beat him into submission. And where is Alex? He's around here someplace. Get up here, Alex. Get up here. Come on, Alex. Get up here, Alex. Before providing life-saving aid to an American who was shot and hurt so badly, Alex's bravery helped save countless innocent lives that day. And today he continues to serve his country as a member of the Oregon State Legislature. So, Alex, come up here for a second. I at least want to shake your hand. Come up here. That's a big story. He had a lot of. I don't think I would have done that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Come here.
Thank you. I
You want to
appreciate
say
it.
something? Go ahead.
Oh. Well, one of the last times I was here was actually to watch our movie that Clint Eastwood directed, and we watched it with the president. And that was, I think February of 2018. And I honestly was surprised because I thought the president would watch about 10 minutes and then leave. And he stayed for the whole movie, which I was very impressed by because we played ourselves in the movie and the acting wasn't the best, but it was a very accurate movie. And the best part was when it came to the part where we were beating up the terrorist, the president hit me on the shoulder and was like, "Right on." And I was like, well, so that's one of the top tier memories for me. So I just wanted to say thanks so much and great to see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alex. We're also joined by another Greek-American who first came here from Athens with $75 in his pocket after becoming an American citizen, Steve Valitsis. Where's Steve? Steve, that's our good story, Steve. He's got plenty of cash now. So you started off with $75, and today you have a lot of money. But Steve built one of the most respected catering companies in Washington and all around the East Coast. And they have proudly catered the inaugural banquet in the U.S. Capitol for every president since Ronald Reagan. And I must tell you, he just did ours. He did 3. The one we didn't show up to because something happened. He was ready to do 3, but something happened on the middle one. And we did awfully well that day, I will tell you. But he just did one on January 20th, 2025, and everybody is still talking about the great food and the great service, and you did a fantastic job. There were a lot of people. Thank you very much, Steve, and your family. Thank you. Also, many of you know Steve's daughter, Alexandra, as the director of the White House Visitor's Office. Congratulations to Steve and Alexandra. Great job. Great job. Thanks, Alexandra. Great job you do. You do a fantastic job at the White House. Also with us in person, and a person that really is a great friend and been a great friend for a long time. I've known this woman, although she's very young yet. I've known her for a long time. She came here and she loves our country and she loves Greece, and now she's going to be the future ambassador to the Hellenic Republic, Kimberly Guilfoyle. And I'm going to say Kimberly, come on up and say a few words. Kimberly, come. She's really a good person. She represents the Greek culture very well, I will tell you. She's very proud of it. Kimberly, please. Thank you, sweetheart. Come.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much of everyone being here. And I tell you, this is the honor and privilege of a lifetime to serve this country and to serve a country that I love so much, that is so near and dear to my heart, with Greece, and to do it under the guidance, the leadership, the most important, powerful president that this country has ever seen, a man of integrity. I know the measure of the man and his character and his strength. And I know his love for the people of Greece, the birthplace of democracy. And today we celebrate and cherish our rich history and our enduring bond, the United States and Greece, and the founding of the Hellenic Republic. And under President Trump, sleep well at night and wake up in the morning feeling hopeful and optimistic for a man that will fight for the economy of this country and of Greece, for religious liberty and freedom, and for the enduring alliance of Greece and the United States. God bless you all. Thank you for having me.
Four more years. Thank you, Kimberly. We are well represented with Kimberly. Do we agree? Thank you, Kimberly. From Washington to Chicago, from New York to Detroit, from Philadelphia to the famous Tarpon Springs. You know all about Tarpon Springs, Florida. Greek Americans have blessed our country with exceptional courage, patriotism, and tremendous skill. Under this administration, we will continue to honor the virtues, ideals, and spirit of this magnificent heritage, and it is indeed magnificent, that has flourished for thousands of years, from the golden age of ancient Greece to the golden age of America. That's where we are right now, the golden age of America. Right, John? Once again, let me wish you all a very, very happy Greek Independence Day. It's an honor, again, to have Your Eminence. It's an honor to have you with us. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate that magnificent cross. It will be with me always. And I'd just like to finish by saying you are a very, very special people. I wouldn't have missed this. I was very busy today. I had something. They took me away, and I said, well, isn't that the same day we're celebrating Greek Independence Day? They said, yes. I said, cancel the other one. It was a very big deal. It was not easy to do, my friend. It was not easy to do, but we did it, and it's now my honor to sign the proclamation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I didn't cut the volume. I think they just cut the mic while he's sitting down. All right, so that was a welcome surprise. That was a perfect explanation for why my schedule is the way it is. I plan to go on at a certain time, but I want to make sure that I can find as much time as possible to cover whenever Donald Trump is doing something. And I moved from 12 to 1:30. I was able to catch those other things, and then I was just about to sign off, and I'm like, wait a second, he's getting ready to do something else. And so we were able to bounce over and cover that as well. And I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed it. The ceremony was awesome. The Greek, what would you call him? Greek Reverend? I don't even know what the term is. Great blessings. That cross was absolutely beautiful, stunning and beautiful. Kimberly Guilfoyle, I'm glad that her and Don Jr. ended on good terms. In case you guys don't know, she's also the nominee for the ambassador to Greece. So he obviously feels still close to her, which is a great thing. So thank you guys for all staying through that. The show I had planned for today, it's already produced and in the can, so I can definitively tell you at 7 p.m. sharp, I will be on time. We already have a show planned at 7 p.m. So I'm going to be able to go have some lunch, kick it, and hang out with the wife and the dogs, and already know that we've got something planned for later. Real quick here, what I want to do is take these super chats so you guys can we can talk about that. Let me just see if I should enlarge this, or if I enlarge it we'll get, yeah, I think we can do that. All right, here we go. What happened when I enlarged it? I lost the person's first name. Okay, hold on, let me go ahead and reduce it. Okay, so Ethel Henry, thank you very much. I thank our President Trump for all you're doing for our steelworkers, and thank you, Barry, for sending us the news and truth. Thank you for watching. Now that, so I don't cut off her name, I can re-enlarge it. Okay, good. We're good. Little Seasonist, new name. I knew I was born rich. It's just the government stole my wealth and gave it away or kept it for themselves. I did not consent. I want my money back. I think a lot of people are going to be feeling that way. Mary Boston, Barry Trump cabinet, awesome. MAGA, yes it was. Lynn C. Mosley, Barry, you are doing us a great service. We appreciate you and the team. We appreciate you. Canelo always. Hey Barry, what's going on the phones and other equipment? Been internal check on port of entry for citizens or non-citizens? Yeah, I'll look into that. I did hear something about that. Beavis McLean, it might be safety related. Barry, I love what you do. Thanks for your contribution. Haters gonna hate. Just keep up the great content. Yeah, I can't please everybody. Robert Husbands, Barry, please don't go anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Gigi Crafts, Barry, I appreciate your hard work. I check X by 9 o'clock to plan my day around your show. Learn so much from your explanations. Complaints, ignore them. Now today was a perfect example. Now you know why it's, I want to do 12 and 7 every day. But every morning I get up and I have to check his schedule, and I'm like, okay, so he's got this plan. Let's go ahead and cover this. Maybe what I should do, you know what? I've been thinking, maybe I need to share with you his schedule. And that way you can see why I'm doing what I'm doing. Lynn Emerson, thank you for I love the little gift there. Thanks for being you. Drew, thank you. Barry, God bless you. Ashley and Robin for all you do. Hey Barry, for the microphone problem, just put a small post-it that says Mike on the corner of your monitor to remind you when you look up. Just a suggestion. You know, I even had a little light here. I have a light sitting in front of me, and that light to click on and off, you guys can't tell right now, but it goes on and off when it's supposed to be in front of me, but sometimes I forget to click it. Nicholas Lamonicus. Nicholas, excuse me, if you're still here, you must have loved that, bro. That was straight up some Greek stuff, wasn't it? Very appreciate program. Watch every day and never miss a day. Our family looks forward to each broadcast. Yeah, you must have loved that. That was great. Kimberly Woolbright. It's not much, Barry, but thank you. Never apologize. Thank you very much for a great show and a great group of patriots. Rob Kelly, fantastic show here in Houston. We have new hiring signs everywhere, and customer service has deteriorated. Where are we going to find workers for all these jobs if nobody wants to work? They're going to have to. That's another thing the Democrats are fighting is work requirements. If you're not just going to get welfare anymore, not if there's jobs available. P. Green, thank you very much. Love God first. Thank you, Barry and Mods. You are also very loved and appreciated. Thank you. That means a lot. Hey, Granny. Granny sees it. Hey, Barry, in my part-time remote job, I also have 3 to 4 monitors. I'd love to see what you're using for a setup, especially the board you speak of. Also, are you using StreamYard? I'm going to look about mounting a camera back there without having wires. I'm going to see if I can do a wireless one. But no, I don't use StreamYard. StreamYard is... I'm not going to say anything, but no, I don't use StreamYard. Granny sees it again. My hubby suggests pairing with you to do a segment on your show, maybe like Andy Rooney used to do on 60 Minutes. Yeah. Hook up with Ashley and let me know. Myrna Nasina, I'm here. Better late than never. Thank you. Donna Kroom, thank you. BLS Doom Crew. All right, here you go. You're going to get everybody all pissed off. Bought Tesla on Friday at $267. I dropped $1,500 today about an hour ago. I took my profits of $271 off that, and I just got back in it at $270 with $65 worth. See, you don't need to have a whole lot. You don't need to have a whole lot to start banking. Good job, BLS. Hey, Barry, see how much Maximus. Hey, Barry, see how much I dig your show. My partner was nice enough to pick me up from work so I can watch you on the way. If you don't read my super chat this time, I'm going to stomp my feet and go to my safe space. Now, see, here's the problem, Maximus. Everybody here has seen me read your super chat. So at this point, even if you're not tuned in 2.5 hours later, other people have seen it. I read it. Beth, Roaring Rage, SV, Ashley, you guys can all tell Maximus I read it. RBI Sports, and thank you. RBI Sports, sorry Australia, our treasury money, our checkmate. Yep, sorry, not funding your universities. How Granny sees it. Barry, tell us how 4.2 will benefit crypto investors. You know what? I'm going to bring on a crypto expert. I'm going to have Ashley contact somebody before the second to explain that, because I want you to hear that from an expert. Joy Kirkland. I am a quarter Greek. My grandfather and my father's side came over from Greece. Maiden name Tiscanis. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. BLS Doom Crew. Yes, he's also hosting the Super Bowl champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, despite all of the liberal. Hold on, let me just talk about this in football. Despite all the liberals trying to tell him, the black, he's racist, he's Nazi. You guys don't want to go to the White House, do you? Of course they do. It's an honor to go to. You may never get to go to the White House again in your life. Of course they're going to go. Oh, I'll tell you, he's such a bad racist. Yeah, he's one of the worst racists I've ever seen. Lucy Lie 15, thank you very, very much. All right, everybody, thank you guys for tuning in. And again, I will be live at 7 o'clock. The show's already in the can, so I'm going to have a nice, peaceful afternoon. I hope you have one as well. And stay around for the after party. Talk to you at 7.
you.